I was all for going second until I realized that I'm pretty much first, and it's kind of scary. I didn't want anyone to steal my stuff, so I was like, okay, I'll go first, but that wasn't just a good idea. But I know everyone says this, and it was very much so true that the whole week was really awesome. I mean, usually at these conferences, the first day, you're wide awake and you're fine, and then towards the end, you start to get really tired, and like you said, heard the schedule, it's just really tiring, and you may get a little bobbing action going on at the end, and you need some candy to keep awake. But I'm honest when I say it, on Friday, I didn't have any trouble, and I was like wide awake and listening to all the services, and it was really awesome. Like every service went together, they all flowed and had something together. But usually at a conference, Friday night, if you've ever been to a conference, the Friday night is usually or Thursday night. It was Thursday at this conference. It's usually like the emotional one or the biggest one, but for me, Monday night was like really amazing. Has anyone here ever heard of Bobby Bonner? Raise your hand. One person? Two people? Two people? I had never heard of him, and usually when you look at a sheet, you look at the speakers, and you get excited for some, and you've never heard a few, so I didn't know what to expect. But it was really amazing. His testimony, I can't repeat it. It was crazy. Like, if you know anybody, just ask him about him and ask him about his life. And he was a Major League Baseball player, but he preached to us and never mentioned that, like not once. He never mentioned that. And then he went back and preached again. Then they told us he was in the major leagues, but he never mentioned that again. He only told us stories about Africa. And his stories were so amazing that you couldn't even like imagine. I can't go into them. They were just like breathtaking. And when they told us about his achievements, he won a national championship. He's in 2 Hall of Fames. His achievements in baseball are just amazing. But God saved him, and he went and was called to Africa. And the next sermon was Carrie Schmidt, and he talked about God's best for our life. He gave an example, but it was just when God called Bobby Bonner, he thought his best, and like I do a lot of times, is I think my best is what I have planned, and that's like the top of the chart for me. But really what God has for us is like so much better. Yeah. And Pastor Chappell preached a little while later about greatness. And our definition of greatness, how it's in America, it's so out of whack. We think about Hollywood and sports players as the meaning of greatness, the top of greatness. Everyone wants their signature, wants to see them, wants to talk to them. But it's really not that way. I mean, I would look at Bobby Bonner of the whole conference, and I would really say, wow, that's greatness. No one's heard of him. But his stories, like, he never mentioned numbers of how many people he had saved, but his stories of traveling village to village, you can just picture like thousands being saved. And he lived it was like really humbling. There was a quote, it said, "If you could give what isn't ours to keep for something better that is eternal, then why wouldn't you?" Pretty much the whole conference, what I got out of it is that I want to give God control of my life, because what I could have planned for it is so much smaller than what God could give it. And that's all.